But you know what? Let's just go into the whole point of us being here today, which is da 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 linebackers. Now, this is part of the series that we're doing here on the Sooner or Later podcast. We're going to definitely jump into each position group. We did defensive backs 2 weeks ago. We're doing linebackers today. We're going to go to the defensive line on Sunday. So make sure you tune in for that. We're going to talk linebackers today. I'm excited about talking linebackers because this is the one position group that I'm the most stoked about, mainly because this is the one position group that we got a lot of players to talk about. So I'm gonna pull up this the depth chart that I got from the great people over at our lads as they put together a spring roster depth chart. This is a guesstimation. Nothing is official until we get an official from the team. But this is who we have that really looks like could be on that list. We have your starters are going to be Stutzman, Canick, and then McCullough on that Cheetah side. And then from there, with the backups being Witter, McCoy, and Harrington. And then right behind them, Kip Lewis and McKenzie. Now, Kobe McKenzie. Now, I'm going to say this. As we see them as redshirt freshmen, I don't see those two staying back there for very long. I don't see a seniority situation happening here with those two to where they say, you know what, you should, wait. I think we're going to see a lot of playing time out of them. Now, as far as the starters go, that is my expectations. I 100% expect for it to be Stutzman, Canick, with Canick being the mic, and then your Will being Danny, and then McCullough floating there at the Cheetah. PG, start with you. How you feel about this depth chart right now at the linebacker position?
So was this just people that were at spring practice, or is this what they project it will be?
This is the projected spring depth chart for now.
Okay. It's interesting to me because Shane Witter is one that I think people should really watch because that dude's fast. And if he can stay healthy, Shane Witter's a guy that could really swap out with Danny Stutzman and probably share significant minutes. Jake McCoy, I'm going to be honest, I don't really see anything there. That's a Kip Lewis or Kobe McKenzie spot. But there are a couple names on this list that people need to be paying attention to. The first one's Phil Picciotti. He probably needs this season to build up strength, build up muscle mass, be in the Schmitty program. But Samuel Omosigo and Lewis Carter, when they get here and they're on campus, they're gonna get playing time this year. Those two guys are just freaky athletes. I think Samuel Omosigo and Lewis Carter are probably your best bets to be the next solid Cheetah at Oklahoma. But we've talked about Justin Harrington getting some Cheetah time this year. Other people I'd look at is Reggie Pearson. You've heard a little bit of Peyton Bowen out there.
We've talked about him a couple times. We talked about Pearson a few times actually on that as a I guess for McCullough you have him for the linebacker to the line portion of Cheetah, and then you bring Pearson in when you want an extra DB, more so going to a dime package, going linebacker back into the secondary. And you could probably rotate in someone else. So, no, that's a good point. I remember we were talking about that.
Yeah, and then, if somebody gets hurt, right, Peyton Bowen is a guy that they have talked about that could potentially step in and be that role. He's just a freak athlete. But, yeah, Samuel Omosigo, Lewis Carter, those are two guys that are not on this list that you guys need to be paying attention to. They won't be there during the spring, but they will be in there in the summer. They will get their fall camp, and I have no doubt in my mind that Samuel Omosigo and Lewis Carter will be fully football ready by the beginning of the football season.
I wonder if Phil Picciotti is going to actually – he's here now, isn't he?
He is, but I think he will redshirt. You probably won't see him this season. I think he really needs to put on some muscle mass. He's 236, but he's
that's a big boy.
I think he's a little too heavy for the linebacker position. Samuel Omosigo and Lewis Carter, they have their workout packages. Samuel Omosigo, he dedicates himself to football, watching film, those kind of things. That's why, I look at those two and I go, yeah, they're going to come in the summer. They're going to go through fall camp. they will be ready to go. Like they will get early probably touches in those first couple games when it's blowouts and they're getting an opportunity to put these guys out, hopefully. So, and then from there, if they absolutely need them to play the season, you're going to see them take minutes.
I can see that. Coop, what you think?
Well, you know how much I absolutely love the man that I have dubbed the Crimson Missile, and that's Lewis Carter. He hits people and he wants to hurt people, and I want to see him so much. But I'm going to go same thing. I think Whitter is a guy that you're going to see hit the you're going to hear the whispers of him pushing Danny Stutzman, and Danny Stutzman's out there, the vocal leader for the whole dadgum team. So that's something there. Kanik, can he know where he's supposed to go? Will he see an earlier, switch, than maybe Stutzman did this past year, to where he starts running that 4.4 speed in the right direction? That's something we want to see, because everybody who sees Kanik sees Teddy Lehman, and we all want to see that return. When I look at Pachotti, I look at somewhere between Rocky Calmus and Teddy Lehman. I see a man who is going to, and I hope, but Preston, you said that he needs to hit, he needs to hit the weights. I hope on hope that he comes in and he can put on some good weight. After that, man, bless you, Jake McCoy. Hopefully on senior day you get a start or something of that nature. But between Kip and Kobe, those are two guys that kind of find themselves where Clayton Smith was at this point last year. And that is, all right, is it go time? Can we do something? Is there something that you can do to get it, to make it click? Guys, I think PG, you may have said something that most people need to understand that this is something that's going to happen this year. You said we're going to get some of these guys in a blowout. We didn't get to see that last year outside of maybe Nebraska. Everything was a fight, and everybody's going to want to see the new toys. Everybody's going to want to taste that new bottle of bourbon that you just bought. We've got some allocated guys coming in, and so the starting lineup, Stutzman, Kanik, McCullough. This is something that we're going to watch, and we're going to not understand what we're looking at. And these are still the linebackers. I remember linebackers being a weakness for so long now. I just don't even know what's going on. And I see Jimmy down there talking about Kanik being the belldozer. I mean, what if he could run oh my gosh, I'm blanking out right now. What's the ex-quarterback in New Orleans who does all the the step-in stuff? That would be totally dope, just to see him maybe take a goal line sweep. Like we used to run with 80 Miller or something like that. But anyway, when it comes to the defense, this would just be amazing. It's Hill, the quarterback. I appreciate that, Drew. Thank you.
And this was pointed out not too long ago. Seth just pointed this out. Kind of, would it be fair to say that BV's defenses don't traditionally have 5-star talent at linebacker? When you think of 5 stars, it's all D-line and DBs. Didn't they get some 5 stars at Clemson at the linebacker position? I swear
Barrett Carter.
Yeah.
Trent was Trenton Simpson a 5-star, or was he like a borderline 5-star?
Ooh, I think it's borderline.
And then you have Jeremiah Trotter too, which he's just been an absolute baller.
Yeah.
But Barrett Carter, I think, was the top linebacker in his class. I know that BV landed like one out of the top 5 guys his last 3 years at Clemson, that linebacker position.
Trotter Jr. Yeah, I think they had some 4 and 5 stars there. Seth, but I think here we may not. Maybe that's a good question. I have to go dig on that one, but that's a great question to ask. But the Kobe McKenzie show, I'm really intrigued by him, because this is why. I remember when RJ Young posted this picture, and when he posted it, I was like, really? That's McKenzie standing next to Kenneth Murray. K9 to K next. And this was him in high school, standing next to Kenneth Murray. And now when I looked up his numbers, he's listed at 6'2", and I don't know how for real this is, but he's 243 right now on the spring football roster. Kip is 6'1", 203, but he's 6'2", 243. And looking at this picture, he's a monster. Look at that size. In high school, this man is huge. I'm just hoping that his play definitely follows that. Anyway, let's jump on some of these comments. Hank, straight up, we could use another Marshall. We totally could definitely, yeah, we could definitely use that. Andrew is 100% correct. Simmons was like a 3-star when he came in. Nobody saw him. He was found in a small town in Kansas. Actually, I think he came from, I don't think he came from Hayes, but he came from a city in Kansas close to where Kenneth came from, and Kenneth came from Hayes, Kansas. So definitely some random spot. But yes. Yeah. McKenzie's bigger than R. Mason Thomas. And R. Mason Thomas put on some weight too. There was a list that Parker and them put out there as far as the players and their shift in weights and stuff and how much they've gained. Imagine Kobe McKenzie rushing you on the edge. If he's fast and he maintains strength, my God, that size is huge. Or am I crazy?
Yeah. I mean, our Mason, the pictures that he looks like a different player. You guys, you got to think about this. We're about to enter into a time like you look at Alabama. Drew Sanders couldn't sniff the field at Alabama.
It was a mistake
because of Turner and Anderson, right? And so now, like, Turner will be a first-round draft pick next year. Will Anderson's going to be a top 5 pick. Anderson's going to be a top 15, 20 pick this year. We're going to have a couple of these situations where Kobe McKenzie may not be able to see the field, and he's going to have to go somewhere else and become a first-round draft pick somewhere else. I hope not, but again, that's we're kind of hitting that spot. And I was looking back in 2016. Looks like Clemson had 2 5-star linebackers. Trey Lamar out of Roswell, Georgia, Rashawn Smith out of Bradenton, Florida. That was in one class, so that must have been terrible. And then they had a couple of the guys follow it up too. So I mean, it is. You need somebody who is going to have some sense to them and some intelligence to them and listen to BV, because again, you saw last year with Stutzman with the whole, like, I was a couple inches off my spot. I don't understand what the big deal is. Like, you got to have a linebacker, who is putting dudes where they're supposed to go and say, yeah, listen, that's your spot. That's where you're supposed to be. There is no variation that's allowed.
Yeah. And, oh, goodness. And Derek LeBlanc, he's like up to 278.
He's probably one of the more exciting players that I want to see this year, because I know everybody's so excited to see the 5 stars. No, I want to see Derek LeBlanc, because I think Derek LeBlanc legitly could come out and take a starting role from somebody. I just said legitly. I don't think legitly is a word.
I mean, we'll make it a word today, but when we talk defensive line on Sunday, I'm definitely diving deep into it. You got him, you got a few others to really talk through or whatnot. All right. Let's look at some of these comments. We're gonna shift it back to us. Whoops, I don't want the 3-way. There we go.
I haven't finished it out, but I see that it may be 2016 through 2019. It was only the 2016 year that they had 5-star linebackers. Oh, there we go. Trenton Simpson in 2020. So it doesn't look like it's an every year deal.
Yeah, I think you had Trenton Simpson in 2020, and then Barrett Carter in 2021.
Yeah.
And then you had Jeremiah Trotter. When was Jeremiah Trotter? 2022?
Or was he 21?
21. Hold on. I'm using Rivals, and there's too much on-3 migration talk about Rivals, so the site goes slow, right? We've got All right.
I think in
I don't see it.
247, if you take Barrett Carter, Trenton Simpson, and Jeremiah Trotter, that gives him 3 top 5 linebackers each year.
Yeah.
And
Trotter
Jeremiah Trotter was a
was
dude.
21.
Okay, he was 21.
Jeremiah
So he
Trotter
was in the
Jr.
Barrett
was
Carter
class
year.
21.
He was in the Barrett Carter year. Okay. Who did they
Yep.
get in 2022? Because they got somebody in 2022. That was Hosh Johnson.
Had some monsters. But let's dive into some of these comments. Drew, thank you. Olathe, Kansas. I didn't feel like looking it up because I was doing the screen share thing. But that's exactly it. I know that vicinity. Even though Olathe is actually on the opposite side of Hayes, Kansas. I thought they were closer, but that's neither here nor there. I was actually in Hayes 3 months ago. So I know the area. Good job on that. Drew, you'll be on here very soon. We'll probably have to bring you on Sunday if you're around. We can all talk about the defensive line. But outside of that, man, any closing arguments around the most important position of the day, which is linebacker? Anybody you think should be starting, who should see more action, who we should hear more from, or do you
Jaron
think that this is a
Kinnick.
solid depth chart?
This is interesting, but Jaron Kinnick kind of intrigues me a little bit because Venable said he needed to learn how to play linebacker last year. So it's like, did he really make that much of an improvement to be a starter over everybody else? Or is he just getting the start because he's a freak athlete? But other than that, like I think this list is pretty solid. Like I said, I just don't think Jake McCoy will be a secondary, maybe a transfer portal guy or something. I don't know how he feels about the program, but next year is going to be an interesting linebacker room, especially if you can get Sammy Brown and Peyton Pierce. That'll be a fun one.
Ooh, that'd be
Yes.
good. No, I agree. Kinnick, I think it's a combination of he being a freak athlete. I think that he did some really good things at linebacker. He's a ball hawk. He's just not. He just don't know how to be in the right position, but he'll get to it. And I think that film study is going to get him to the place you want to be. Stutzman is the one. I know BV said this in his interview that his favorite animal is the Danny Stutzman, and we're giving him love because he likes to go get the ball. I'm totally seeing him do the doing a big jump this year from the 100 and some tackles he got this year and just being in the right spot at the right time, like he was in the Iowa State game. Coop, what you think?
Brent Venables, every single word that comes out of his mouth is meant to motivate and to encourage. And you've got a collection of guys that need to understand that there is an intense team goal, and without the team portion of it, we're just going to have guys running all over the place. So that's my hope, is that they can all know what their role is, do it to the max ability. And again, if you get to circle in guys like Witter and Kip and Kobe, and then bringing in some of the pups, we've got nowhere to go but up. And hopefully, I'm seeing in the comments a lot of stuff about Skalski. That guy was a pure on just learn, and overachieve. So if he can give some of that animal behavior to some of these guys with these freak talents and these freak measurables, sky's the limit.
Yeah. I actually heard that James Skalski is going to get some plastic surgery and potentially play in the place of somebody on this list. So
I'm done with
that.
I'm done with you. Kick PG out. Gotta kick him out. No, that's funny. But no, he will be hands-on, Seth. I know that he, as that grad assistant, they brought him here to not only help teach those linebackers, but get him that experience as a coach. He could be someone down the line to keep an eye out for, man. If he is as bright as I'm hearing that he is, and he could be something special in the coaching rankings and recruiting rankings in the next couple of years as he's getting his legs underneath him. But I'm totally here for the plastic surgery, PG, because I think that would be very much dope to get him on the field, because that dude was putting up some numbers. So, all right, closing remarks. I've got to go pretend to be a parent. Thank y'all for pulling up to the show. PG, closing remarks?
Yeah. Don't call for DG's job in the spring game, please. If you do, I will personally come find you in the stadium and give you a whooping.
PG's violent. He's talking about plastic surgery and stuff too, so you never know what he's gonna do to people. Kidding. Coop, what you got? What's your closing remarks?
All right, everything starts with a foundation. Some of the foundation was set last year. Now we get to build on top of that foundation. And I'm not going to call for playoffs or anything this year. I want to see an actual, game by game building experience for our defense, our offense. But when it's all said and done, I think by the end of this year, nobody wants to play this team. Everybody knows what the ceiling of this team is going to be. And again, it's going to be a lot more fun to cover this team. These are going to be a lot more fun this year because last year, just trying to decide whether or not I wanted to call for a win versus KU, I'd rather my children come in and kick me between the sticks than have to do that ever again.
And James, I like this. PG would be more threatening if he said that in a gimp suit. I'm here for it. I am here for it. You just put a smile on my face. So, hey, thanks for pulling up. Remember, Kyler Murray is supposed to be getting his Heisman statue at this spring game. So make sure you pack the palace. We would love to have y'all there. Pull up Sunday. I'll make a post in the community tomorrow, 6 o'clock. We'll be doing the defensive line and probably combined offensive line too. Don't know. We'll see where the conversation goes. And we'll talk about the Future Freaks Day and who actually pulled up. Got a list of players that are supposed to be there. I'll pop a video out later this week. And we'll also, PG's going to have one as well going down the line of what he's got intel-wise. We typically share the intel, so we'll chop it up. But, hey, outside of that, we will chop it up with y'all in, a couple of days. I'll be at the SEC Connect channel in the next 15 minutes. So join me over there talking SEC football with Ty and Nino and all of them. Peace.